So you might be able to see behind me, I am here in Grasmere in the Lake District. 10 months of training has come down to this. I am running 52 kilometers in the Lake District Fells today. 52k, 2,800 meters of elevation. 10 minutes at the start. Nervous, most nervous I've ever been for a race, but I cannot wait for this.
Just to explain the start just before we get you going, you're going to head out under the arch and then you're going to stay on the track. You have one job. Seven 48 minutes in, just over 7k on the steepest climb for the first part of the race. Probably gone a bit too fast so far, but nothing too extreme. Bit of light scrambling back there. Perfect conditions today though. Cloudy, not too warm, not too cold. First bigger climb done, and we're met with some pretty impressive views at the top. So descending is still very much my weakness. A few bumps and twists of the ankle. So ultimately my goal for today is to finish. So I'm not racing anyone other than me. So I'm just going to be a bit more careful on the downhills. Check this out for you. So this is the part of the course now that they warned us about at the start. So it's very steep, very technical and very slippy. So I have no shame in just walking this downhill. Beautiful, beautiful course this. Right, nearly 13k in 1 hour 34. That descent was not a bit of me. That should be the hardest bit of the course for me, because I'm just not a good descender. I must have lost like 5 minutes on the next people, but keep pushing. Just out of aid station 2, 19.4k. Feeling good, feeling tired, but this was always going to be a challenge. Furthest I've ever run, most elevation I've ever done. It's in one of the most beautiful locations possible.
time. I'm not sure like 47k, but it's a nice time.
27k, third aid station we've just been through. Now for the hardest bit of the race. 3 hours 17. Oh, I'm suffering. 28k, 3 hours 28. I've been training towards like a 6 hour-ish finish time. 6 hours, 6 hour 30. It's gonna be more like 8. Not my day today, but I'm enjoying every bit of this. My body is so sore. I've just not trained for the strength required for this and not been in the fells enough. It's all me I'm doing. It's all a learning curve. But I said I was aiming for 6.5 hours. I wasn't. That was just kind of the shape I was indicating towards. What I was aiming for is finishing. That's still the aim. It's just going to be quite the challenge to do so, because as I say, I'm quite sore. I'm about to hit 30k, just past another stream, so threw my hat in. It's a warm day now. So the course just split into two back there. There is a long route which is 44k, and then the ultra route which is 52. And interestingly, you can decide during the race if you want to go down. So if you were going to do the ultra, you're not feeling it, you can say, actually, I'm going to do the long and just let the marshal know. And as tempting as that felt, honestly, I was so tempted. I entered the 52k, so I'm going to do a 52k. Either that or DNF, but that's not an option. Oh, 34k down. I think 3 and a bit more to the final aid station, where Kate and my stepdad Paul are waiting for me, which is amazing. If either of you are watching, thank you for coming. I apologise, I've took a lot longer than expected. I texted Kate before saying my body is absolutely hating this, but I'm loving it. That's true. I'm suffering, but what a day. Final checkpoint on the way. 37k into the race now. Oh, 15 to go. And I'm now on the biggest climb of the race. So we've been up Red Screes, now descending before heading up towards Fairfield, the highest peak on this course. I believe it's just shy of 900 metres. I'm officially into unknown territory. I mean, I probably wasn't a long time ago, but my furthest ever run until now was 40.5 kilometres. Just gone past that. And we are about to start climbing again. Well, that's a little bit demoralising looking over and seeing that climb.
44k. All downhill from here apparently. This descent isn't like overly technical, but oh my god, my quads are dead. I can finally see the finish line with about 4k to go. 48.3k and a little impromptu aid station there. It's just informed me there's one more climb. Great. That is exactly how I'm feeling, to be fair. Never again. Final kilometre. And a bit emotional. Cheers, thank you.
Well done.
I'm not doing that.
So yeah, that was tough. So it's now Monday and the race was on Saturday. I wanted to film some like post-race thoughts immediately because obviously that's when you kind of have the best recollection of the race. Even like I've started editing this video and watching back some of it. I can't even picture where I am on the course, but the second I finished, I found Kate, I found the dogs, and we had a hug, and I got some drinks, and there was seats in like the event village, sat down, and that was me. Had some food, went back to the hotel, and then, yeah, had a chilled evening, went back out for some more food, but I was completely wiped out and in no fit state to be making any post-race thought videos. So yeah, that was really, really tough. Really enjoyable though. So I texted a few people during the race and I said to Kate and Paul when I met them at the fourth and final aid station that my legs are hating this, but I was absolutely loving it. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from that. I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed near enough every second of it. There were a few moments where I was thinking to myself, why on earth did I even come up with this idea? But no, it was a very enjoyable race. It was the Maverick Lake District race, for those of you that don't know. Really, really well organised. First time I've actually done a Maverick race. From the staff, the volunteers, the course, the event village, all of it really well organised. The emails that they sent out the weeks before the race, and just even communication on race day and stuff like that. The marshals on course, I could go on and on, but the best thing I always say about events is if you don't notice anything go wrong, then it's probably a really well-run event, and that's how it felt. It was really well put on, and for my first ultra, very, very happy. In terms of the course itself, it was brutal. I've done quite a few runs in the Lake District when we've been up there staying for like holidays and stuff. I've always got out onto the fells. I ran Langdale Pike earlier in the year. And the terrain is always challenging, and I knew it was going to be tough in that area of the lakes. I really wanted to recce the course this summer, but I just didn't really get a chance. We've had quite a hectic summer, so I didn't get a chance to actually recce any of the course. I kind of know parts of it without actually ever doing it, kind of driving past certain parts or walking nearby, but never actually stepped foot on any of the course, I don't think. So there were a few really challenging bits, there were a few really runnable sections, and there was obviously just a lot of people out on the course because it's really popular like walking routes. So it was such an enjoyable course itself, and that the Lake District for me is just the best place to do any kind of trail run. Absolutely loved the course. Very, as I said, very, very tough. Some of the descents where I personally struggled, and I kind of knew coming into this event that I was going to struggle on the descents based off the Brecon Beacons and Tittersworth, where obviously the shorter routes, I think 23, 24k, something like that, but my quads have been burning for days after, so I kind of knew coming into this race that's probably going to be a bit of a weakness of mine, and that ultimately it's something that I can reflect on and maybe improve upon for future races and stuff like that. I just didn't quite have the strength in my legs for the distance, which is absolutely fine. It's all a learning curve, and as I said, I enjoyed it. I knew I was going to finish. I was just like, I'm just going to finish. Let's just, whatever time it comes in, I don't really care. I'm just going to finish this race. 53 kilometers, furthest I've ever ran, most elevation I've ever done, and yeah, it was just a immense sense of pride as I kind of finally got back into Grasmere and could see the finishing line. I thought, so we were descending down from Fairfield, down from Stone Arthur to be more precise. That was the last Wainwright, and I could see the finish line, and I was like, that doesn't look 5 kilometers away. Little did I know there was another climb. That's on me for not fully studying the course itself, but there was another climb which then added another couple of kilometers. But then when I finally got down to Grasmere, I was like, thank God it's over, but I really did. I took the time to enjoy every second of it. In terms of training going into it, I thought up until about maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago, I was nailing it. On course, really positive with my training. And nothing really changed in terms of my training. I've actually been really lucky this year, touch wood, I've not been ill, not been injured. So training in terms of consistency has been really well. I just kind of realised as we were getting closer to the race, I'm probably not quite as prepared as I thought I may have been. 40.5 kilometres was my longest long run, so quite some way short of 53k. But it was more just time on feet and actual technical training on, tough terrain. It's just something that I didn't really get enough of. First ultramarathon done, would I do it again? On the day, I was like, absolutely not. I'm so glad I've done this, but I am not doing one of them again. I'm going to stick to my half marathon trail races, and maybe in the future, I'll cross that bridge at a later point. But I think the more I think about it, I finished second in the Brecon Beacons trail race over half marathon like a month ago. And I felt so proud with that. Like, I'm come from like a background of being relatively competitive on like cross country and track and road and stuff like that, so I have always enjoyed being like towards the fronter end of races and being a bit more competitive. But I finished 19th in this race, which is still absolutely incredible, and if you finished first or 150th or however many were in the race, it's still an incredible achievement no matter where you finish. And the sense of pride that I felt for finishing this, because I didn't actually think that it was possible, let alone 9 or 10 months ago when I come up with this crazy idea, but even like a matter of a few days ago, I still wasn't fully convinced that I'll be able to do it. So the sense of pride that I felt from that massively outweighs the pride I think I've had when I've finished higher up in races, even over the shorter distances. So at the moment, I'm going to have a good little rest and then start training lightly again, and there'll be no ultramarathons for a good few months, but there is a good potential that next year I might be back in the Lake District running another 53 kilometres, but we'll see.